So the second video was to talk about some of the stuff that you were talking about with certainty in life. I have to tell you that certainty is something that we don't find. A lack of uncertainty is a natural part of our life. City traffic is the number one that I want to leave with you. When I lived in Toronto, if I left at 5:30 in the morning to get to work going 100 kilometers an hour, I could get there in 40 minutes. If I left at 7:30, it would take 50 minutes, and if I left at 8, it would take 85 to 90 minutes. My landlord, on the other hand, he went to work at a different speed. He went to work at 150 kilometers an hour, and he got there much quicker than me. So there is some uncertainty, and if we add in some other stuff, then that can really throw a spanner into the works. Mr. Invincible is one that I can think of. If the traffic is flowing like this, Mr. Invincible and his friends were looking to see whether Mr. Invincible could cross 10 lanes of traffic like this and get to the other side unscathed. Unfortunately, he didn't. He was hit partway through this on either the second or the third lane, and the first two cars that hit him probably didn't even know that they hit him, and that really threw a wrench into the morning traffic as we were traveling. Another one was cattle. So if you have a semi with cattle in the back and it gets into an accident of some sort and the cattle get out, then it creates mayhem. Who knew that when you have a wall on this side of the 401 or a wall on this side of the 401 and you have bulls in there and cars are coming through, that bulls would charge, and they can do some serious damage when they charge a car. That really slowed traffic down, and they're trying to get people to avoid that, and it was a mess. And that kind of uncertainty, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it puts you really behind. So getting to work on time, the best that you can come up with is a 90% confidence level. If you leave at this time, you are 90% confident that you're being able to get to work at the time that you're supposed to be there by. The rest of it is taken up by the unknown, ice, and idiots. They occupy the rest of that, and they show up at some point in time, and maybe they'll make just a small dent, otherwise they'll completely destroy the schedule, and you'll have no hope of getting there even close to on time. But there's another area, and that's light. Is it wave or is it a particle? You know the pattern, how the lower frequencies you have sound, and it goes on through light, ultraviolet, and then on into X-rays and gamma rays and so on. And what's happening is the pattern of the light changes as the frequency increases. So we see a wave pattern developing there, and in physics I've done wavelength calculations using diffraction. We used an air wedge. So we had two pieces of optically flat glass, and they were put with elastic on both ends. One side was one blonde hair thicker. We have to give thanks to Donna Doucette of my class because she gave up one hair for everybody to do this experiment. My hair, it was too thick, and the diffraction pattern of the sodium lamp we're using was too far skewed down to the one end. So hers, being a thinner blonde hair, it spread the spectrum across the plates a lot better. But we also did some experiments to prove that light is a particle wave. The Compton effect, where we shone X-rays. This is something we did. The air wedge we did in grade 13. The Compton effect we did in grade 11. And the teacher, he's a nice guy, but he's living on the dangerous edge, and you know, the safety people these days saw what he was doing, it would just make their navel pucker, something fierce. He was generating X-rays, and he was shining it on a beam or on a block of graphite, and then there was a slit where something went through, and then it looked in some sort of a ion chamber over here, and it lit up. So we were able to demonstrate in grade 11 physics that light has a particle aspect as well. So yeah, we did some really wild things in grade 11 physics, and the safety people, they would just shake their head, and they'd be forced to shut them down. So which is it? We really don't know. Scientists don't know. They can generally say that as the frequency increases, we see the propensity of particles as an explanation show up more and more, and it increases once you get past visible light, and you're seeing particles called photons showing up. They don't know much about them. There's a lot of research that they're doing on it to try and figure it out, but in general that's the best that they know. And yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty with other aspects of life as well, and it's not abnormal for us to be having uncertainty in some aspects of our life, and it may be a stretch to insist that there be certainty in all aspects of our life.